do have a script that I will be also talking about, but for me, the colors in here, I know they are the Rastafarian colors, but if you know anything about spirituality and chakras, my root chakra, red, solar plexus, my heart. And those were a lot of where the trauma was that I had throughout all of my life. So the colors double as my chakra where I had to do a lot of healing. So that I just kind of want to preface it about that because I did not put anything about the chakras in here, but those really, again, I mean, I know they are the Rastafarian colors, but for me, it was that root chakra that I had to heal, the solar plexus that, you have no self-esteem because of the trauma, you make yourself small, and my heart was just broken. So, yeah, we got through a lot, but okay, so happy Saturday. Thank you everybody for coming. My name is Rebecca Jones, and I first want to start off by saying Namaste, Ho'oponopono, Asquali, Esfavo, Amen, Shalom, Salam. See, we are all beautiful souls having a very real but very traumatic human existence right now. We are all just put here to be here and be a beautiful soul, but we didn't know how much trauma we were going to have to go through on this path. So, without the ups and the downs, there is no beautification. Without the darkness, you don't see the light. So we have to walk through a lot of darkness to get our light, to see our light, to understand how much of a beautiful person we are. So I know we're all working through traumas, stereotypes, and other things that as individuals, like I said earlier, we made ourselves small. Everything kind of makes you small. So every little trauma, one at a time, just builds up until you don't want to talk, you don't want to do anything. So with that being said, through my life, I had a lot of sexual abuse, bullying. I was also the unwanted second adopted child, and I knew this from a little age that nobody really wanted me, so it was something I had to deal with. Besides that, then I decided to marry a narcissistic, abusive, alcoholic, and drug abuser. So it was definitely a path that I walked and I thought I could do it and thought I could make it, but it definitely did a lot to me and my children. Throughout all of this, I persevered. I landed what I thought was my dream job at Procter & Gamble. That's what I wanted to do all my life. I thought I could suppress the traumas by, throwing everything that I had into my job. I tried so much to do that, but I really couldn't get past a lot of things. So while I was still working, my husband at the time also was cheating on me for 6 years, so add that on top of everything else. Little did I know, working those long days and nights at my dream job would really put me to the tipping point of my demise. I had already lost my father in 2006, and then my mother-in-law in 2016. She passed away due to a botched AAA surgery, so it was very unexpected. Losing her really opened my eyes, because I remember when she would come to the house and she would just cry. She would cry and cry and cry and say, I can't do this anymore. She was in the same situation with her husband, my father-in-law, as I was with her son. So, family trauma repeating itself again, and I would just see her, and I knew I did not want to do that for myself. I knew I didn't want to stay there. But I still continued to stay, but I ended up having a visitation dream from her. Amazing, thank goodness that I'm so open to the spiritual realm of things, but she came down, she gave me a hug, then she grabbed my face and she said, you get out. You do whatever you need to do to get out and save your children and save yourself. And I really was like, I woke up crying, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. I still didn't leave, I still stayed. So I continued to stay. I thought I could do it. I thought I could just continue to do everything. But yeah, that wasn't quite how it worked. And then, let's see. After that, I developed some very interesting PTSD and OCD coping skills to continue and live this traumatic life of pretending nothing is going on. Let's see. And then after that, I really threw myself into work again, thinking I could be successful. I thought I could make it through life if I just continued to just do what I could do. Well, in 2019, my mother was diagnosed with 2 primary cancers, which is very weird. Most people only get 1 and metastasize. She got 2 primaries, which was okay. I moved her in with us while still working at Procter & Gamble. I was going to her chemo treatments, literally having meetings. So it was like I was still just like not dealing with things that I needed to deal with, but and just pouring everything that I could into my job. Well, basically about 4.5 months later, she did pass away, so she succumbed to her diseases. And at the time, it just really devastated me, but I still tried to burn the candle at both ends. and just continued to do that. But one day I just realized I was so depressed and unhappy, I just couldn't do it anymore. Have a dream again that night. This time it's my mother who came to visit me. She came in, she looked a little sad, and she just looked at me and she said, "You have a lot to do." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what do I have to do?" "What? I have a lot to do." And then she looks at me and she said, "I also have a lot to do." And I'm like, oh. At the time I didn't quite realize she was going to be my spirit guide that was going to help me through a lot of this trauma. She gave me a big hug and told me she loved me. That was the turning point. That next morning, I woke up, I cut the grass on my zero turn, cutting the grass, bawling my eyes out. I finally get off the zero turn and I'm like, I'm getting a divorce. Went up to the barn, told my husband, "Hey, I can't do this anymore. I need to leave. I must get divorced. We can't do this." I thought through the time that I could still live there because I'm still small. I still don't really want to get out there. I did. I attempted to live there with my kids for another year. I slept on the couch, and one night during that time of sleeping there, it kind of came to a head where one of my children got hit by my husband. That was it. I couldn't do it anymore. It was enough if I got the abuse, mental, verbal abuse, any type of abuse. If it was on me, it was okay. But when it finally came to my children, my older children, I was like, no, that's it. So the next day when he was at work, we packed everything up and we left. Fortunately, unfortunately, my mother, when she passed away, she left me her house. So thank you so much, Mother, that I had a place to go. So February was snow. There was so much snow that day. We go to my house and we stay there. And that's where we've been ever since. We still live there now. So it was very beautiful that I had that at the time. I'm still working at Procter & Gamble during this time. I'm still really trying to push everything that I can into what I'm doing. But my PTSD, my OCD, my ADHD, my autism, depression, and anxiety finally took a toll. I just could not quit crying. I just was crying constantly. So I was like, you know what, I have to go to the doctor. So interesting, I go to the doctor and immediately she writes me off of work. You can't go back, you must stay home. And little did I know, 4 months prior to this, so I had just went to my regular primary care doctor who wrote me off. 4 months prior to this, I had already set up an appointment with a psychiatrist and a therapist. I didn't know where it was going to be, but if anybody goes to a therapist, it takes so long to get in there. Somehow I knew 4 months in advance that I was going to need to go. Literally, I had an appointment the next week. So, and that was to be off of work. I had to have, FMLA filled out and all kinds of things. So it was already set up for me somehow. I couldn't believe it. So basically, from that point, January 26th of 22, I was written off. I did not work for 13 months. I was very thankful for Procter & Gamble because they did allow me to be off. Little did I know, though, that most companies think of mental health as like a broken bone. You'll be finished in 6 weeks, you can come back. You'll be finished in 2 months, you can come back. You'll be finished in 4 months, you can come back. That's not the truth. Nobody knows how long it takes to build new neural pathways in your brain. You have brain damage from all kinds of trauma. Any type of mental and verbal abuse gives you brain damage, just like any other physical thing. So, it's not a one-size-fits-all. You can't automatically come back when they want you to. So I spent most of that year fighting with Procter & Gamble. Thank you still for letting me off, but I didn't get paid after 6 months. So the last 7 months of my leave, I did not get paid. By the grace of God, I did not lose my house. By many people that helped me and my children, I did not lose my house. I was able to stay there. All the while, I'm still addressing therapy. I would go to my sit-down therapist twice a week, my psychiatrist once a week, and then EMDR therapy twice a week. I did that for the first 6 months. Crazy, insane, I just couldn't believe it. It was so very helpful for me to do that. And then after 6 months, I was able to pull it out a little bit farther. So I would go like every other week to every 3 weeks to all of these doctor appointments. I continued for the full 13 months to do that. But around 6 months, I realized, you know what, I think I'm feeling a little bit better. Let's see what else I can do. So I really dove into spirituality. I became a Reiki master. I became a quantum healer, a crystal surgeon, a spiritual life coach. It really saved my life. Besides that, I also found St. Vincent de Paul. One day, randomly, I decided to go to church, and I met somebody there, and then I'm like talking to her, and I'm like, I think I'm supposed to donate some things to St. Vincent de Paul. They gave me a phone number, so I call them up. By the end of the day, I was at the bank street, coming home with a 4-foot statue of St. Vincent de Paul. The plaster was crumbling. My kids thought it was scary because it was in my kitchen when I got there. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I went to go donate time or donate, and now I'm redoing a statue for St. Vincent de Paul. I'm like, I've done sculptures before, but I've never redone a statue. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. But I can say that statue and my healing work really got me through. Without it, some days I don't think I would be here. I mean, there was days, they can contest, where I wouldn't get out of bed. I wouldn't brush my teeth. I would just lay there and cry still, even with all the therapy. So once I had that statue, I knew there was other people depending on me. Not that my children were, but other people outside of the realm of what was my reality really needed me to do something. So I would wake up and I'd work on the statue and whatnot. It took me a year to finish the statue, so it was a long time, but it was really beautiful, and it was great because I was able to ride down when they took it to Bank Street and see the unveiling, and it just was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. So it really helped me to start being strong again and standing up and whatnot. So that was beautiful. Also during this time, I got a little bit more courage, continued to speak out, spoke to my therapist and whatnot, and found myself flying out to California one day to pick up a schoolie. So if anybody knows what a schoolie is, it's a bus that's been converted into an RV. It was something I dreamt about for years. Would draw it in my sketchbook. All of a sudden, I've got a purple schoolie, a 30-foot schoolie that literally got dropped on me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do this. My kids thought I was crazy, 100%. Mom, you're going to what, the Redwoods to pick up a schoolie? Do you even know how to drive a bus? No, I don't. Little did I know I would invite a friend who would then leave me in Arizona. So I still had to drive from Flagstaff, Arizona all the way home by myself. But I will say that trip by far was the most important trip that I had made in my entire life. When I got left in Flagstaff, Arizona, I cried for 5 minutes. I was at a truck stop. I'm like, what are you gonna do, girl? Are you gonna sit here and cry? Are you gonna go find a trucker to like drive you home? Or are you gonna find a wrecker to come pick this up and drive you 1,800 miles home? No. By the end of the night, I knew how to drive a 30-foot bus and parallel park it. So little did I know I would be hitting every national park on the way home as I traveled. My kids would still think I'm crazy. And where are you, Mom? Are you alive? I even had a therapy appointment with my EMDR therapist at the Petrified Forest in Texas. So I'm in the schoolie and I'm showing her around and I'm having therapy. So it was just like, it was really good to finally find my courage and my voice. And still not talking as much as I would be now, but it was more. I wasn't as small. I made myself bigger. So that was really great. I came home, and by the grace of God, I've just been continuing ever since. Like I said, I do a lot of different spirituality things, and really it was interesting because when I decided to really dive full head into the spirituality, a lot of things that I did when I was younger came back. So at 3.5 years old, I knew I was here for something different. I knew I had knowledge that other people didn't know. I would tell my parents, hey, thanks for raising me as a Catholic, but God is the one creator of all. It doesn't matter what culture, religion, nationality you are, there is one creator that had created all of us. And I would tell them that. They're like, don't talk about that. We're Catholic. We can't talk about that. So from a little age, they repressed things that I knew I was here to talk about. But through my trauma, I'm like, hey, I'm talking about it now because I remember. God is the one God for all of us. It doesn't matter. So there is one creator of love and light that created all of us, and that's why I'm here to talk about that, because without that and everything else I've already talked about, I would not be here. I wouldn't be the person that I am. I would not be talking about this. I would probably be small or not even here. So I knew that I was here for a purpose, and I really love what I do now. Interesting. Currently, I am halfway finished becoming a shaman, a mesa-carrying shaman for the Q-Row tribe. So I've really just dove full into the spirituality, and next week I will be starting a course of forest therapy. So I'll be a forest therapist as well. So basically I'll be doing my spiritual life coaching and Reiki, but out in the woods. I teach people how to use herbs and plants and trees, how to heal themselves naturally. So I just really love that I decided to take that journey. Obviously I did not go back to Procter & Gamble. Again, I love them. Thank you for everything that they did, but I learned through my mental health disability that no company, big or small, values the real meaning behind mental health. If you want me to come back in 6 months, if my neural pathways aren't ready for me to come back, it's not gonna matter. I'm gonna get fired. So I really just, I went out on a limb. I'm like, God, you've got me. I know everything that I've been through. You made me get home from California. I didn't kill myself. I did not die. I did not, all the things. And I knew that I was not supposed to go back there. I was supposed to do this my healing, talk about what is going on, and be advocates for people that can't have a voice or don't have a voice yet, and know that no matter what happens, it gets better, it gets easier. I mean, my house flooded while I was gone. Twice, I believe, I had to get all new floors, I had to get a new roof, air conditioning. Things just continued to happen, but I still just put all my faith in God, and knowing that if this is what I'm supposed to do, I jumped. I am the fool in the tarot deck, I am all the things, I am the person that is gonna walk that path. It's not an easy path, but I'm gonna walk it anyway, and that's what I do now, and I love every bit of it. I would never change anything, not even any of the abuses. I've forgiven everybody, because if I hold that grudge, I'm the only one holding it. They don't know that I am still mad at them, so it's like, no, you have to forgive your abusers. You have to forget the things that happened, forgive the things that happened, because you're the only one carrying it. Let it go. So that was really how it's begun, and I just want to spread love and light to everybody, even my abusers, because without those things, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't be able to talk about this and tell you what happened. I wouldn't be able to be happy about the fire and the flames that I walked through, because I had to do that to get here. And I knew at a young age, even at 3 1/2, I knew my journey wasn't going to be easy. I knew I was going to have to walk through some horrible, horrible, horrific things. I did it anyway, and I'm still here. And I'm here to say anybody can do it. So